life.
Walking by Senado Square, it's hard to miss this teal-colored landmark, the new Central Hotel. Once the tallest building in the city, the hotel has its intricate history with gambling and entertainment. It was, however, shut down in 2016 due to poor maintenance. And it is now up to the current owner to restore this historical building to its former prestige. Although architecturally still one of the most iconic buildings on Avenida de Almeida Ribeiro, the Central Hotel has remained lackluster in modern-day Macau. Before its shut down in 2016, the hotel has garnered a notorious reputation for being, quote, the worst hotel in the world, according to reviews on travel sites like TripAdvisor. But back in its early days, the Central Hotel was once the icon of the city, a hotspot for entertainment and nightlife for people from around the globe. On July 22, 1928, the six-story landmark sprung up in Macau, taking the crown as the tallest building in both the city and the Portuguese Empire. The building was briefly renamed as Hotel President, but that decision was soon reversed in 1932, when two gaming entrepreneurs, Hu Tak-yong and Ko Ho-nang, took over the hotel. Later in 1937, the two formed the Tai-hing Company and obtained an exclusive right from the government for casino-style gambling. Central Hotel has since become the first two-story casino in Macau.
After 1937, it starts to become most famous hotel, not only in Macau, but world famous hotel, because the owner of the hotel, it was Hu Tak-yong, the man that had the monopoly of the gambling in Macau. His seventh floor, I think it was the seventh floor in one of the best nightclubs of international class.
Facing a sudden competition from International Hotel, which sprung up in the 40s in the Inner Harbor, the owners decided to add 5 more stories to the building to rival the 9-story giant. The plan was originally banned by the local government, but upon appealing to the Portuguese Supreme Court of Justice, the hotel regained the throne as the tallest building of the city in 1942, and was later renamed as the Central Hotel. During the Second World War period, the hotel has experienced some of its most glorious moments, with rich Chinese families fleeing to Macau while indulging in the lavish dance halls and cabaret shows.
After 1937, the starting of the Japanese invasion of the coast of China, people start to run away from China to Macau. And the first wave of this kind of people is rich people that is running away from the Japanese. And they spend the money there here in Macau.
Not only was its fame well established in Macau, the hotel also garnered unprecedented international attention.
The authors that visit Macau, Ian Fleming, that created the 007 figure, James Bond, visit the hotel. He was in Macau for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. And is the inspiration of James Bond. They say is Mr. Pedro Lobo. Pedro Lobo was the man that is most powerful Portuguese guy in Macau. Some people say that the inspiration for the Goldfinger person in the Goldfinger movie was precisely Pedro Lobo.
The Central Hotel was mentioned in Fleming's book, Thrilling Cities, which compiles travel journals he wrote for the Sunday Times. He visited Macau in 1959 and noted that in the hotel, the gambling tables were open day and night.
Macau had a single street running half the length of the town, the Street of Happiness, which had been one great and continuous street of pleasure until 1928, when a 9-story high Central Hotel, the largest house of gambling and self-indulgence in the world, was constructed. It is a 9-story skyscraper, by far the largest building in Macau. It is devoted solely to the human vices. It has one more original feature. The higher up the building you go, the more beautiful and expensive are the girls. The higher the stakes at the gambling tables and better the music. Thus, on the ground floor, the honest coolie can choose a girl of his own class and gamble for pennies by lowering his bet on a fishing rod contraption through a hole in the floor onto the gaming tables below. Those with longer pockets can progress upwards through various heavens until they reach the earthly paradise on the 6th floor. Above these are the bedrooms.
The hotel is also mentioned in the famous novel of the mid-20th century, The World of Zuzi Wong, by British writer Richard Mason. This lively description of Macau at the height of the hotel's fame occurs shortly after the protagonists arrive to town, coming from Hong Kong, where most of the action takes place.
Macau was on the tip of the peninsula, and in 10 minutes you could walk from the playa on one side to the beach on the other, and in 20 minutes from the center of the town to the frontier across the peninsula neck, where you could see the red China flag flying down the road. Though, of course, in that heat you never did walk, but took rickshaws everywhere. Macau had flourished for centuries as a gateway to China, but now the gateway was closed and there was no trade any longer, no industry, no business, nothing to keep the town alive except the opium, and gambling, and girls. And at the hotel where we were staying we could get all of the three, the gambling on either the 2 floors devoted to casinos, and the opium and girls in your room by pressing the bell and asking the floor boy. And for that matter, the floor boy would also provide the go-between with the casino, so that if you believe in doing things thoroughly, you could gamble and smoke opium and have a girl at the same time.
A visiting professor of gaming law at the University of Macau says the Central Hotel was essentially the most important point in the gaming industry for as long as its gaming concession has lived. It has also survived the conservative Portuguese administration back then, whose intent was to completely ban all gambling activities, or at the very least, curb the spread of the industry.
And that was the objective, to completely ban all gambling, including the lotteries. But as we know, that never happened for various reasons, especially the fact that there has always been a sustained demand.
With the settlement of British people in Hong Kong at that time, shipping, trading, and manufacturing industry has slowly shifted to the neighboring SAR, leaving Macau's economy in decline.
Macau had to have revenue from some sources, and gambling, opium, and then gold trade were what made life possible. And actually, these industries were obviously very successful. But nobody liked it, at the end. Nobody wanted these things to exist. And the idea, the dream was to one day build a so-called normal economy and end these suspicious industries. But that moment never arrived.
After the World War, Thai Inn Company continued to dominate the industry until 1961, when the company has lost its concession to Stanley Ho's TDM. Gaming operation at the Central Hotel officially ended on December 31st, 1961, and that's when the hotel quickly loses its spotlight, with its reputation never recovered. Fast forward to recent years, the hotel has become a low-budget, seedy establishment that is notorious for its poor maintenance. Growing up across the street, the current owner of the property, Simon Siu, said he has witnessed the deterioration of the hotel and was determined to restore it to its former glory.
But when I was grown up, the old town become worse and worse, especially this building. And I have a hope. If I can, I would like to make this giant stand up again.
Siu initially planned to simply remodel the hotel, but was unaware of how impoverished the building was.
But after I was the landlord, I know how worse it is. I gave up this idea. It didn't do anything about strengthening of the foundation. So my idea is strengthen the building from the foundation first.
Siu promises to keep the building as original as possible as a commitment to preserving the collective memory of the Macau people. He also stressed that it is his mission to tell the story of Old Town Macau to future tourists. As for what we can expect when the hotel reopens, the owner said the preliminary plan is to have the entrance set up on the ground floor, coupled with several shops. The first, second, and third floors will be reserved for commercial use, though concrete plans have yet to be unveiled. On the fourth floor, we can expect to see the lobby of the hotel, together with a Chinese and Western restaurant combined in one. And from the sixth floor and up, it will be the 123 hotel rooms available for booking. For those who are not looking to spend any money, the rooftop will be a free for all.
We are planning to open the roof to the public as a sightseeing platform, because till now, this building is the most highest building in the old town. If you go to the top, you can see the old town very well, very beautiful.
As part of his mission to promote Macau's history to tourists, special aisles will also be established in the hotel, displaying historical pictures of the hotel as well as the old town. The hotel also revealed to have purchased 2 additional properties adjacent to the new Central Hotel. One of them would be converted into a motel coupled with several small shops. The other was originally a traditional restaurant, which he plans to reopen. Taking advantage of the heavy tourist traffic in the district, he envisioned the new Central Hotel as an entrance to Macau's old town. Although the construction has officially commenced, the project has encountered multiple delays since 2016. Seal, however, defends that the project was a difficult task, which takes time to get its plan approved.
Because the building was not, the condition is not so good, We have to negotiate with the IC to show them what evidence we are in my hand, and to convince them to accept our idea, something like that. That took some time, but I'm really appreciate with most of the department of the government is open. At last, they agree almost all we suggest.
The hotel is expected to reopen its door in 2023. The construction of the building's foundation has already begun in May and is expected to complete within 9 months. That will be followed by a 2-year renovation work for the upper part of the building. Siu said he's confident that his project will come to fruition.
Before I was the landlord, the building is very terrible. I can see it. But after our hard work, I'm very confidently to say that I will make a miracle, and I'll show you. You can see it 3 years later.
If they do a recuperation of the hotel well done, I think it can become again an icon because it's in the area of historic significance.
Many stories happened there, lots of romance and excitement. The Central Hotel has a story that really should be told and remembered. So it's a major part of the gaming history of Macau in the 20th century, and that history should be remembered and should be celebrated.
Before we go, let's take a look at tomorrow's weather.